good time of it. And we are currently looking at Lewis Hamilton, as Robert Kubica, I believe, has just started a lap in the Williams. By the way, guys, if you're wondering why the stream went off, sorry. Again, my laptop is really having a tough time of it. It's just being a real bugger today. And doing it a bit more with the timer. So, yeah, sorry about that, guys. But, again, I'm trying my best here. This is the best I can do at the current time. So, just quickly post that picture of the Williams that I was going to get up on the screen. There you go. And I will put that picture right there. There you go. There's the Williams. Am I back, guys? Am I back? Yeah, back. By the way, guys, it's not my internet, it's my computer. It's freezing a few times. That's what it did. It froze briefly. And we have now a lot more cars out on track as Kimi Raikkonen is currently on a lap. The Alfa Romeo. Oh, Robert Kubica. Absolutely. Is that Robert Kubica? Has just had an absolutely gigantic engine failure. Smoke everywhere. Red flag has come out. And I'm now going to have to get rid of the timer because, yeah, we have now a red flag in this session. Robert Kubica, massive, massive engine failure there. And, yeah, that is not a good thing at all. I mean, Williams, with the amount of grid penalties there are for other drivers, you would honestly hope that, you know, he would be able to complete the session and be starting a bit higher because of those respective grid penalties, but that is not what Sir Frank Williams, of course, wants to see. By the way, we just had a super chat. This was a few minutes ago from Marcus Reed, who says, for £2, by the way, thank you very much for donating. I really, really do appreciate that. He says, appreciate you providing a forum for discussion. Yeah, no problem. We do this, again, every practice qualifying race, you know, bearing that we don't have any technical issues. Yeah, that's what we do here. And yeah, it's a great thing. And hopefully you yourself will you know, keep turning up because, you know, it's a great place to come and chat about Formula One and experience it all together. And yeah, just looking at the screen, and yeah, they're just showing replays of Robert Kubica's engine failure. And that, of course, is not a good thing for the Williams team. And Claire Williams looking on, not impressed. And yet the session is now stopped. And it will be stopped for a few minutes as Robert Kubica really is disappointed. Because, again, with Williams, you would expect the car to be reliable. But yeah, can't really accept unreliability from that team, considering that they're so far at the back. They need to be reliable, but also they have the Mercedes power unit, which is the most reliable on the grid. Well, not today. Not today, and not this weekend, really, because obviously Sergio Perez had an issue with the Spec 3 yesterday with the oil pressure. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. For not only Williams, but Mercedes-powered cars, because that will be a worry going forward. Because obviously, they want to be sure that their power units, you know, are reliable and actually are going to work. And if they don't work, then, you know, that is going to become an issue. And by the way, sorry if my stream is still lagging a bit, guys. But again, I try my best. Try my best. Things are really not going well with my computer right now. I'm just about to actually post a picture on the screen of that engine failure for Robert Kubica. And there you go. There it is on your screen. And yeah, that is an gigantic failure for absolutely gigantic failure again for a Mercedes powered car. That really is a surprise, and thankfully the Williams is not on fire anymore, because that was a bit of a worry, still being on fire way after the actual blow up had happened. But there you go, Kubica now, big smile on his face, laughing and joking, probably think, well, can't get worse than this, can it? And no, it probably cannot get worse than that. He was going to start at the back, or be at the back anyway in terms of lap time. But now we'll have to start literally at the back, because he hasn't completed a time and he's had a reliability issue, will result in a new power unit. So yeah, Robert will be at the absolute back for the race tomorrow. Someone's saying you're about 45 seconds behind. Yep, I did say that, I think, before the qualifying session started. So again, if you do want to sync up, then just pause your device for 45 seconds and we then should be synced up. And by the way, this red flag is a great thing for Lewis Hamilton, because this now allows, because now the timer stops, this does now allow those mechanics to work on the car and get closer to the car being completed than it would be by now, because by now they'd really be in trouble with Mercedes. So that is a real stroke of luck, and I don't want to start off any conspiracy theories, but it is a bit weird, isn't it? A Mercedes works car is desperately trying to be fixed, and a customer team all of a sudden has an absolutely gigantic blow up that causes a red flag. I'm not trying to start a conspiracy theory, but that is interesting, put it that way. That is very interesting. It seems as though we are getting people back though after the small disconnection, which is good. Right, let me just look. Guys are saying. Yep, you guys just confirming that the stream is working. Yep, it's back working now. Again, if it's a bit buffery and stuff like that, there's nothing I can do about it at the moment, because my computer just isn't smoothly running. I'm trying to make sure I can do the stream and trying to battle through these issues. For some reason, there's lots of people surrounding the Ferrari garage and technical delegate. Well, for some reason. But yeah, I'm trying to battle through these issues just to bring you the stream, because I know you guys really want this stream to happen. So, I'm trying to bring you the stream, and hopefully, the issues can stop and we can get on with the rest of the stream, and things can be fine, because I will admit it's getting on my nerves a bit. It really is. But yeah, the session is still red flagged, and we'll be getting underway in 2 minutes time, according to FIA race control. So yeah, we'll be underway in a couple minutes time, and I will be resetting the timer just a moment, because we have 12 minutes and 59 seconds to go. So I'll reset that now. Go. Right, so it's all ready. As Racing Point look as though they're ready. There's on the TV Juan Pablo Montoya with his son, I believe, Sebastian Montoya. I believe maybe someone can confirm this for me, but Juan Pablo apparently is a driver coach or an advisor to Lance Stroll, which is an interesting choice to go for Juan Pablo Montoya, but you cannot doubt when it came to qualifying pace, Juan Pablo Montoya was an absolute beast. So he's probably one of the best people to go to ask, get some advice on how to improve when it comes to qualifying. Absolute demon when it comes to qualifying speed. And yet we'll be underway in just a moment. The Williams car is now fully cleared away. Hopefully no oil is now laid down on that part of the circuit that will cause people in Francorchamps to go skidding off. That would be very scary. And it appears that Lewis Hamilton's car is now ready, as the green light is about to go for the restart of one, as plenty of cars are now queuing up at the end of the pit lane. Red Bulls, Renaults, McLarens, all sorts, as Lewis Hamilton about to go out, but now they've said, right, we'll wait, as the green light for some reason hasn't gone yet, even though it is time to go, the FIA race control said. 12 minutes and 59 seconds remaining on the clock. Now Hamilton comes out, and they're still waiting for the red light to go green at the end of the pit lane. And will it ever go green? Yep, there it goes. So Q1 is back underway, and all the cars now come out onto the circuit. As yet we get now the two Alphas, Ricciardo, Verstappen, Perez, Hulkenberg, Sainz, Norris, Stroll, Kvyat, Russell, Bottas. Basically everyone is coming out onto the circuit now to get that first flying lap in for qualifying. And once everyone, again, just to clarify for anyone who's watching new around here, once everyone sets their first lap time, that's everyone except for Kubica, I will then update the running order to what it is once that all happens. As we are now watching Lewis Hamilton on camera straight now and looking at Max Verstappen, I believe, who is coming through Puon. Is that Max Verstappen? Yes, it is Max Verstappen coming through Puon now into the Fanny chicane. He'll be looking to get nice, good early lap in. Interesting to see though, Max Verstappen rear wing is a lot bigger looking to me than it was this morning. This morning he went for a very skinny rear wing to test it out. It is still skinny, but it's not as skinny as it was in practice 3. So yeah, they've obviously gone for a bit more wing because they don't want to be far off the pace in the middle sector, and probably because the balance was a bit upset by running such low downforce rear. But it definitely looks slightly bigger to me. As Max Verstappen, is this Max Verstappen? Yes, it is. Starts his first flying lap of qualifying 1. And he now turns into the La Source hairpin. Car looks good to me. Now flies up. Now goes right into Eau Rouge. And now comes up to the top of Radion. That section of track is now so simple. It's easy flattening these cars because these cars are so well at handling. As Max Verstappen for the end of the first sector does a 31.1, which is half a second at least slower than the Ferrari cars were going in practice 3 in the first sector. As now everyone is starting their first lap time. As Max Verstappen now coming into the no-name left-hand turn. Turn 9, I believe it is. It is. And now comes to Puon, a great corner to watch the cars. Swings it in. And that is lovely to see. Now comes into the Fanny chicane. got to absolutely attack these corners. And it doesn't look like he's attacking that hard. I think he's backed off. Backed off? He doesn't look like he's going that quick. No, he's backed off, I think, Max. Well, if he's continuing, then he must have had a loss of power because he looks like he's backed off. He's going that slow. Bit weird there for Max. And he now comes through Blanchemont. But yeah, this doesn't look like a quick lap at all. This looks like an installation lap at best. And no, I think he's starting another lap. Maybe not happy with the grip of his car. Loss of power, possibly. And yeah, 51.8, that's terrible. I think he has a problem. I think Max has got a problem because that's not a lap time. That's not a representative lap time at all. And yeah, Giovinazzi now goes P1 on a 1:45.6. That's a good time. Raikkonen second on a 45.8. Hulkenberg goes third. Stroll is fourth. Sainz and then Verstappen. Verstappen, though, very slow lap. Perez now goes second. Now Daniel Ricciardo goes P1. As Lewis Hamilton comes to the end of his first run in qualifying 1. And where will Hamilton go? Probably P1 by a bit of a margin to everyone else. And here he comes, Lewis Hamilton, and yeah, he does go P1, but only by 0.3 of a second. Not that great of a lap, but Charles Leclerc is absolutely flying out there. He's done a fastest first and second sector as Valtteri Bottas now gets P1 on a 45.1, but that is not that quick at all. As Charles Leclerc now comes up to the bus stop chicane. And not looking great is the bus stop there for Charles Leclerc. Comes to the line and does a 43.5. Vettel does a 44.1, but 43.5. That's 1.5 seconds faster than Bottas and Hamilton. That's absolutely incredible. 1.5 seconds quicker. I'm sorry, that is an unbelievable first time of the session. That Ferrari, Mercedes are probably not pushing that hard, but that Ferrari is so quick. As now here comes, a Red Bull on a lap and there's a car holding him up. But the Red Bull comes back in anyway. It was Verstappen. But that was an absolute great lap. First lap by Leclerc and also Sebastian Vettel. Here is, by the way, when Lewis Hamilton came out onto the circuit. And now I will update the running order. So it is Leclerc, Vettel, Bottas, Hamilton. Alexander Albon is 5th. That's good. It's only 0.3 behind the Mercedes cars. As we've got 6.5 minutes left in the session. Daniel Ricciardo is 6th. Antonio Giovinazzi is 7th. 8th. Romain Grosjean. 9th is Sergio Perez. And then in 10th place is Kevin Magnussen. So it's mostly dominated by Ferrari-powered cars. The top 11 or so. Because in 11th place is Kimi Raikkonen in the Alpha. Surprising he's slower than his teammate. And then 12, Nico Hulkenberg. Renault not looking too bad after that first run in session. Stroll is 13th. Lando Norris is 14th. Pierre Gasly is 15th. Then in the drop zone, very surprisingly, is Carlos Sainz. McLaren do not seem quick for some reason, and they're really off the pace. And then you have Daniel Kvyat, 18th. Oh, not in 18th, in 17th, sorry. And then 18th is Russell, and then 19th is Verstappen, and of course, Spitzer is 20th, didn't set a time, and he won't be because of his engine failure. So there you go. That is the current running order with 5 minutes to go in the session. By the way, guys, just want to ask, is the stream working all fine? Let me know in the chat, because that would really help. By the way, Crystal Racing, basically my computer is not doing that well. It's freezing a few times. So basically it froze for a moment and it disconnected for about 5 seconds. So sorry about that, but yeah, that's just the way it is sometimes. I definitely am going to get a new PC, no doubt about it. I actually, just to let you guys know, I stream off of a laptop. That's probably why I have the amount of issues I have, because I don't use a PC for streaming when really I should, because everyone else does. So yeah, I think it's time to upgrade. As Lewis Hamilton comes back into the pits, and they're going to do a racing pit stop. Hamilton, as yeah, he comes in now. Valtteri Bottas, I think, also is coming into the pits, and yet they do a racing pit stop, put the soft tyres on. And does Lewis Hamilton go out? Yes, he does. Yes, he does. All good, but the volume is low. If you have your volume on the stream maxed out and it is low, then sorry about that. I'll make sure to fix that for tomorrow. But if you don't have your volume maxed, then just make sure to turn your volume up as high as possible to hear me. As Max Verstappen coming through the not the Fanny chicane, coming through Stavolo, and he's now on the straight heading towards Belgium. Crystal Racing saying looks like using the same laptop as Bobby Kubica. Yeah, most likely. And here comes Max Verstappen on another lap. We have just under 3, or basically 2.5 minutes to go in qualifying 1. And Max Verstappen now has to get a run in, because if a red flag comes out now, he is in deep trouble, because he's 19th and he hasn't set a time yet. So he's got to set a time. Even if he has an issue with his car, he's got to now set a time and hope that he can get through into the second part of qualifying. And yet he so far he's 4 tenths up on Pierre Gasly. That's a very fast first sector. And goes a bit wide on exit of that corner before the hairpin, but that's okay. Down into turn 8. Looks fine. There's a car ahead going slowly. It's a Toro Rosso on an outlap. I'm not sure who it is. Passes him. Another Toro Rosso ahead on an outlap that he's got to make sure he gets past very quickly. And he does, and so does the Renault of Daniel Ricciardo, his old teammate, as Verstappen now throws it in Spanish chicane. And Max is really pushing hard as his teammate gets out the way nicely. And he now comes to the end of the middle sector, and Max is doing enough to get into qualifying 2. This will probably put him in 3rd place as he now comes through to Belgium. Past all the traffic. They've not held him up. Oh, a lot of traffic at the last corner though, but he'll pass them all down into the bus stop chicane. And the McLaren there starts his lap right in front of Verstappen, but I don't think that'll affect Max at all, as Max, yes, does go into 3rd place. I'll update Max in 3rd place in a moment, guys. I'll wait until everyone has completed their lap. Oh no, an Alpha is blown up. Giovinazzi in red flag, so the session's over. The session is over. So that means that Pierre Gasly, Daniel Kvyat, Carlos Sainz and the 2 Williamses are out of qualifying. So let me then, after that, update the order. So Antonio Giovinazzi, who actually ended up then in 8th place, has had a catastrophic failure, and yet his engine's completely given up, blown up, the run to Eau Rouge. And he is out. That's a shame, because he was looking great. He was up in 8th place and ahead of his teammate Kimi Räikkönen. So the order At the end of qualifying 1 is Leclerc, Vettel, Verstappen, Bottas, Hamilton. Then it is Albon, Ricciardo. I'm not going to put Giovinazzi in 8 because he has had a blow up. And he will go backwards anyway. So then it is Grosjean, Perez, Magnussen, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Norris, and then Giovinazzi made it through to qualifying 2. And then out in qualifying 1, Pierre Gasly, 16th place, Carlos Sainz. What a shame for him. Really got unlucky there, did Carlos Sainz. And then in 18th place is Daniel Kvyat. He will start from the back anyway because he has a penalty. And then in 19th is Russell in the Williams. So out in qualifying 1, Gasly, Sainz, Kvyat, Russell and Kubica. 3 of those 5 are either current or not current Red Bull driver program drivers. There you go. But let me just take this. So Q1 is over. There you go. That was and it was lucky. Max was lucky to a degree that he got his lap in when he did, because if he was half a minute, or not even half a minute, if he started his lap when the McLaren did ahead of him, he would have been out in 19th place. So Max a bit lucky there, but unlucky not to set a lap earlier on. Yeah, there you go. And Crystal Racing saying it's actually 6 cars out in Q1. Well, yeah, I see what you mean. Giovinazzi, of course, will not be completing qualifying 2, so he will start 15th. Well, he'll qualify 15th. I don't know where he'll start, but that's a bit worrying for the Ferrari works team, because one, Ferrari have an old power unit in the car, but also the power unit that has just failed in the Alpha is the new Ferrari power unit. That is a worry for Ferrari. That really, really is. But now I will try to put a new picture on the screen for you guys if I can. And yeah, I'll try and find one in just a moment. I've got one, I believe, of Antonio Giovinazzi having that issue. And here you go, let me just get it up. By the way, my computer now has completely got back up to normal running speed. Fine now. So there you go. You can see there, parked on the side, Antonio's car. And they had to bring out the red flag because no one would have been able to actually improve their time, because if they did, then, you know, they would have incurred a time penalty or a grid penalty for going too fast under yellow flags. So there you go. That is qualifying 1 done and dusted. But now qualifying 2 will be getting underway pretty soon. Probably in a couple minutes time. Might be a slight delay if Antonio's car can't be cleared away very quickly, but yeah, it should be underway in a couple moments time. But I guess you can say out of qualifying so far, Antonio Giovinazzi, even though he got through the top 15, but also the 2 Toro Rossos of Gasly and Kvyat, Carlos Sainz in the McLaren, that's a big surprise, and the 2 Williamses of Russell and Kubica. But interesting to see though, also in qualifying 1 was the lack of pace from the Mercedes cars. I hope they are sandbagging, because if they're not, then they are really miles off the pace. Yeah, they've got to hope that they have a lot more to give, because they do not want to be that far off, because that is nowhere near good enough for them. on Sky F1, we're currently seeing the onboard of Max Verstappen's lap. DJ saying laptops overheat very easily, Chazza. Yeah, well, that's probably why I'm going to get a PC, not use a laptop anymore. Because I think this laptop has, what would you say, had its day? Yeah, I think that's what we will do for the future. And let me just quickly get everything ready for Q2. They've just said, though, the start of Q2 will be delayed. They haven't said until what time, but it shouldn't be too long. It really shouldn't be. Because as long as that truck currently on the TV with the Alpha on the back of it, as long as they turn the truck around, then the pit lane is right there. I hope they don't drive the truck the entire way around the circuit. That would not be a smart thing to do. But so I'll get the text ready. Ready, there you go. Two will be underway very shortly at the Spa Francorchamps circuit. Let me look at what people are saying in the chat. Renault strikes again. I bet McLaren's race pace will be slightly better, 10th to 12th. Yeah, McLaren will be better tomorrow for sure. They're normally at their strongest in the race. Qualifying, not always their best thing so far in 2019. They have had great qualifying sessions. Normally in the race they are stronger. So yeah, definitely look out for McLaren tomorrow, even if they're not in a great grid position. And Q2 will get underway in about 1 minute from now. So yeah, there you go. Someone's saying audio stutters are getting worse. On my end, my audio is not stuttering at all, so you might just need to refresh your stream. That might help, I'm not sure. But yeah, qualifying 2 will get underway very, very shortly. As now Lance Stroll is getting ready to get out there and get... well, actually, Lance Stroll. Did Lance get it through? Yes, Lance got through to Q2. Great job. I just missed that. I completely forgot about that. Lance got into Q2. That's great. Yep, still issues. The audio is lagging. This is so annoying. So annoying. This. Yep, really is annoying this. But you know what? I'm just going to soldier on, do the stream, and then I'll try and figure out what, we need to do. Because obviously, if I'm going to do a live stream, you guys have got to be able to hear me and also, hear what I'm saying and not hear audio stutters or lagging. As Christian Horner there on the pit wall, talking to Rocky, I believe that is, who, of course, used to be Sebastian Vettel's engineer. Now he is an engineer for the Red Bull team. As Q2 about to get underway, and there you go. Is underway. My timer is about a second behind, but it's, basically there anyway. So, who will be the first out into qualifying 2? Don't know yet because F1, they're trying to wait for the perfect time. But in Q2 is the 2 Ferraris, the 2 Red Bulls, the 2 Mercedes, the 2 Renaults, not the 2 Alphas, even though Giovinazzi made it through. So one of the Alphas, both Haas cars, one of the McLarens, and 2 of the Racing Points. For Alpha and McLaren, that's Raikkonen and Norris who are through, as Albon is now on circuit, and so is now Kimi Raikkonen. Those cars are now on the circuit. So is Magnussen and Raikkonen. And now here comes Lewis Hamilton. Be interesting to see what tyres they go for. Because they don't want to be starting the race on tyres that are going to degrade very quickly. Even though we do have the hardest compound tyres here this weekend that Pirelli can bring. And Lewis Hamilton coming out on soft tyres, so they're going to go for the soft. I think considering how hard the compound of tyres are, that is probably the best thing to do. Hamilton now comes out onto the circuit. And Hamilton now coming out, and so is Charles Leclerc, also on soft compound tyres. Here comes Sebastian Vettel on soft compound tyres. And only other car who is not on the track, of course, is Antonio Giovinazzi. So we now have all the cars in Q2 on the circuit. First to set a time, I think, will be the Red Bull of Alexander Albon. So I think we should cut to Albon pretty soon, because it would be good to see what Albon is currently doing in the Red Bull. So yeah, it'd be good to see that if we could on the TV. And actually, I'll get a picture up right now, if I can, of Alex Albon. As we're still on the TV looking at Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari coming through Les Combes. And go. There is Alex Albon. Red Bull. Now about to start his lap. Here he comes through the final part of the bus stop chicane. Now starts his lap. Now comes down to the La Source hairpin. Turns in. Front end is not too bad. Good exit. And now he goes down on a run to Eau Rouge. Again, as I've said before, Eau Rouge and Raidillon is completely flat out. No problem at all. It's not a corner anymore. The kink on a straight is the Eau Rouge and Raidillon section. And Albon now comes to Les Combes. That's a good first sector time for Albon, 30.7. As he now comes down to turn 8, the hairpin. And his lap so far looks pretty good. No mistakes. Car's sticking to the track nicely. Now comes through turn 9. Yeah, car looks very comfortable to drive. As it swings it to Pouon. Slightly touched the inside curve a couple times there. Bit of a risk, but there you go. Turns into the Fanny chicane. And yeah, car is looking very good. The Red Bull in the corners looks very, very strong. They just don't have the power to compete with Ferrari. As Albon does a 15.6 for the middle sector. That is a pretty good middle sector. Now, comes through Blanchimont. And now comes up to the bus stop chicane. And brakes hard now as Kimi Raikkonen does a 44.1. And Albon completely slows down a lot there. Don't know what happened there for Albon. His car really slowed down quite a lot. As does a 45.7. Don't know what happened there. As Hulkenberg goes 3rd. Lando Norris comes to the line and he goes 5th. Daniel Ricciardo goes P2. Kimi Raikkonen's time of a 44.1. That's a very, very strong time. As here comes, who is this? Lance Stroll? No, Perez. He goes P3 on a 44.7. Here comes Max Verstappen to the line. And Max Verstappen goes P1 by only 0.08 of a second. Lewis Hamilton goes P1 now by half a second from Verstappen. So there you go. There's the real pace from Mercedes. Bottas goes 2nd, 43.9. Here comes Charles Leclerc. The bus stop. And will Charles Leclerc go P1? Opens the DRS. And Charles Leclerc does go P1, but only by 0.2 of a second. That's interesting. So Mercedes have now showed their real pace. Vettel goes P2, splitting Leclerc and Hamilton. So now I will update the running order. So it is Leclerc from Vettel, and then it is Lewis Hamilton third, only 0.2 of P1. Bottas fourth, Max Verstappen in 5th place. 6th place is Kimi Raikkonen. 7th is Ricciardo. 8th is Sergio Perez. 9th is Lance Stroll. What a performance so far by Stroll. 8th is Perez. 9th is Stroll. 10th Magnussen. And then in the drop zone at the moment is Nico Hülkenberg. Surprisingly, Romain Grosjean. Ferrari powered Haas. Lando Norris is 13th. That's also a bit of a surprise. And then 14th is Alexander Albon. And of course, 15th is Antonio Giovinazzi. So with 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the drop zone, needing to get out is Hülkenberg, Grosjean, Norris, and Albon. And of course, Antonio Giovinazzi is out. So there you go. And let me quickly get a different picture if I can, so you guys can have something different on the screen as cars are now coming back into the pit lane. And I will say Kimi Raikkonen's time of a 44.1, that's a very strong time. He's half a second quicker than any other midfield car. Half a second. And he's only 0.008 of a second slower than Max Verstappen. Now that is to do with power, but also that's to do with Kimi Raikkonen being so great at Spa. So Kimi looking great. Alpha. And let me now get a picture up, if I can, of Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari, because Ferrari, of course, are still the pace setters. And here we go. And there you can see Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. And even though Mercedes have showed their real pace, Ferrari are still out in front, but the gap is a lot closer. So if they do make a mistake, Ferrari, then the silver arrows are right there to capitalise. Now we have just under 6 minutes to go in qualifying. Just under 6 minutes. And we should be getting the cars back out on circuit in just a moment. Currently seeing Alex Albon in the pits. I don't know what happened for Albon. He got through Blanchimont on his fast lap, and it was actually not that bad of a lap. And he slowed down a lot at the final chicane. So maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me, but to me, Albon slowed down a lot in the final chicane. I don't know what he was doing, but to me, it seemed like he had an issue. Now we're currently seeing Sergio Perez on my TV in the pits. Now Romain Grosjean. Of course, Romain does have a very, very good history at Spa. Got a podium here for Lotus in 2015. But hasn't really, since then, had that many great races here for Haas. So, yeah, not too great. But before the cars come back out on circuit, I'm going to have a quick drinks break, guys, to clear my throat. As you can hear, it is a bit sore. And I'll come back to you guys in a moment. Right, that should have helped. As, yeah, we're waiting for the cars to come back out onto the circuit. And Albon is out. Oh, well, that's probably, yeah, well, he's starting from the back, isn't he? So, yeah, that makes sense. Albon out of qualifying then in 14th place. So the only drivers who are going to go out there and actually try get out into Q3 will be Hulkenberg, Grosjean, and Norris. Albon had decided to call it a day, and Giovinazzi, of course, had a massive engine failure. And if Giovinazzi was able to compete in Q2, you have to wonder, where would Antonio be? Because he was ahead of Raikkonen in Q1. So Alpha are really strong. Really strong. And now we have the two Haas cars coming out of the pit lane exit with, for me, 3 minutes to go in qualifying 2. As see there, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, Sergio Perez in the Racing Point. Lance Stroll has not come out yet, which is interesting because I know he has a penalty, but maybe he'd want to get through to Q3 for his own sake. But it doesn't look as though he's coming out. No, he's not. Stroll has called it a day, and he'll probably get knocked out because of that. And now the Lewis Hamilton on the TV, as he's now coming into, he's not on a hot lap, he's on the soft tyres, but he's coming into turn 8. I don't believe that he's going to actually try to set a time, because he's already set a time on the soft compound tyres and doesn't need to do another lap. So what he, Bottas, and the two Ferrari cars are probably doing is just getting an early sighter lap in for Q3. As Charles Leclerc is now on his out lap, coming through turn number 9. And yeah, everyone is currently on an out lap except for Albon, Giovinazzi, Stroll, and Max Verstappen. And the first person to set a time, another time, should be Kimi Raikkonen, the Alfa Romeo. Yep, he has just crossed the line. I'd like to see Kimi actually see how he's doing, but we're not going to. We're going to look at Nico Hulkenberg in the Renault, the driver who has been announced as being not at Renault for 2020. It will be Esteban Ocon alongside Daniel Ricciardo. Hopefully Hulkenberg this weekend can show any potential suitors that he is a driver that they should come for. Hulkenberg now comes up to Lecum at the end of the first sector. A 30.3, which is pretty good for Hulkenberg, as now he comes down to the turn 8 hairpin. And the Renault looking a bit unstable over the bump there, but he's looking pretty good now. Comes into turn 9, bit skittish on rear, but that's just about okay. Wings it in, turn 9, to turn 10, sorry, for Pouon, and now comes into the Fanya chicane. And yeah, the Renault looking mostly good so far, as now the session is, the checkered flag is now waving. So, let's see who will get out into qualifying 3 as Nico Hulkenberg now comes round and then through Blanchimont. Where will Hulkenberg go? I think Nico will probably get into the top 10 with this lap. He comes into the final bus stop chicane, and Nico Hulkenberg opens the DRS and goes P7 on a 44.5. Good run. Magnussen only 10th. Perez pits, I think. Someone pitted then. As Perez comes to the line and does not improve his time in P9. Daniel Ricciardo goes 5th. Romain Grosjean goes 11th. Romain is out. Lance Stroll is also out. Lando Norris, only P12 for Lando Norris. So there you go. Those are the drivers that are out. And it must have been Kimi Raikkonen who pitted. Replay of Bottas locking up at turn 1 and going, almost spinning the car on the exit. So here comes a Ferrari. Set another lap time. Charles Leclerc goes even faster on a 42.9. And here comes Sebastian Vettel to probably end up in P2, I'd imagine. Yep, 43.0, P2. For Sebastian Vettel. So that is over for Q2. The running order: Leclerc, Vettel, Hamilton, Bottas, Ricciardo. Then Verstappen in 6th. Kimi Raikkonen is in 7th place. 8th place is Nico Hülkenberg. 9th is Sergio Perez. 10th is Kevin Magnussen. And then out in Q2, it is Romain Grosjean by only half a tenth. Lando Norris is out in 12th. And then out in 13th is Lance Stroll. He didn't, though, do a final run, so I think Stroll probably could have got through. And Q3 will start in 5 minutes at 4 p.m. local time. So that's in, 5 minutes at 3 p.m. local time. Yeah, out in Q2, Grosjean, Norris, Stroll, Albon and Giovinazzi. Quickly do text. Q2 is over. There you go. Qualifying 2 is now over. And now we get set for qualifying 3, which start very, very soon. By the way, it looks as though for the first time in a bit that my my stream is doing a bit better now. So that is good. Spider Monkey says Perez's engine change is affecting his performance. It is, but I don't think Perez would be as fast as Raikkonen, because Otmar Safnauer came out and said after, I think during practice 3, that Perez going back to the old spec would be costing him 2 to 3 tenths of a second, and Perez was about 6 tenths off Raikkonen. So I think Kimi and that Alpha is just playing faster as a combination compared to Sergio Perez. Perez is still looking good. I think Perez could end up in 8th or 9th place, which is still good for him and, of course, for the Racing Point team. But yeah, Q3 will be underway in a moment. I'm just going to try, if I can, laptop will allow it, I'm going to try and post another picture, guys. I can't quite do that right now, but I will get the timer ready for qualifying 3. And yeah, guys, let me know in the chat, who do you think will get pole position? Will it be Leclerc? Will it be Vettel? Will it be Hamilton? Will it be Bottas? Let me know. And I will read it out if I can before we get underway for qualifying 3. Right, I do have a picture, and it is of Lando Norris, who has been knocked out. So McLaren, 13th and 17th. That's not quite where anyone thought they would be. We thought McLaren would be, what, 7th, 8th? But that is not quite good enough for McLaren. And maybe the lack of development is now starting to show for McLaren, because they have come out and said that they are now fully basically working on the 2020 car. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's due to not having as much development on the car. Who knows? Also, their lack of power does hurt them, but I think it's probably lack of development as well. But there you go. There is Lando Norris. As in the end there of Q2, Leclerc was, what, half a second faster than Hamilton. But again, Hamilton did not do a final lap at the end of the session. Leclerc did. Leclerc had, more grip for his run than Lewis Hamilton. So please remember that before qualifying qualifying 3 gets underway. That is a big factor. That is a big factor when it comes to grip and also your own pace. But I'm going to try, if I can, and put a picture up of a Ferrari, guys. Yep, I think I have one. Laptop abides. And yep, I think I'm about to post this in a moment. Here you go. Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. Will Charles Leclerc get pole position? Let me know in the chat. I'll try to read if I can. Get the text ready there. From 3, which is underway in a moment. I think it's actually in probably right now. Right now on my TV, we're looking at an interview with Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso, of course. Now we're seeing Valtteri Bottas TV, and he is sat there waiting to get out into this session and try and put himself in the fight for pole position if the Silver Arrow team actually do have the pace. As qualifying 3 going to be underway right now. So there you go. About a second behind that timer, but there you go. Qualifying 3 is now officially underway. Who will, in the first qualifying session post summer break, who will take pole position? My money is on Charles Leclerc, but you never know in Formula 1. Anything can happen. Kimi Raikkonen now starts his outlap, and so does Daniel Ricciardo and Kevin Magnussen. And it looks as though some people are saying Charles, but some people are saying Sebastian Vettel as well. Vettel definitely will be in there. And of course, he does have experience of getting pole position at this circuit. So don't count out Seb. He will absolutely be there when it matters. Ferrari and Red Bull with Max Verstappen and Mercedes are still waiting to put their cars out on circuit. Also, Sergio Perez is out on the track, as we're currently looking at Daniel Ricciardo on an outlap going through turn 9, and now slowly but surely coming into Puon. As here we go, here comes Verstappen and Hülkenberg and Bottas and Hamilton and Leclerc and Vettel for their outlaps for the first lap of the shootout qualifying 3. Going to be a tough fight for pole for sure. As now Sebastian Vettel comes out the pit lane, and Kimi Raikkonen should actually be starting his lap pretty soon, because he was the first out of the pit lane. Now 10 minutes to go. As Verstappen, Hülkenberg, 2 Mercedes, 2 Ferraris coming through the Camel Straight. And Kimi Raikkonen and now Kevin Magnussen have started their first attempt of qualifying 3. Let's see what they can do. Not actually seeing their laps, which is very annoying. We're watching Sebastian Vettel on an outlap, as Kimi Raikkonen now on the Camel Straight is coming down to the Coombe, but we can't see it because we're still watching cars on outlaps, which is not very interesting. Also, Daniel Ricciardo has just started his first lap And we currently have a traffic jam behind Nico Hulkenberg. I don't know what these drivers are doing, but they've got to get out the way because Kimi Raikkonen's out there on a lap. And they're going to block him. So they need to get a move on, honestly, because this is ridiculous. They've got to get a move on because Kimi Raikkonen is flying up behind them and is going to come across. And here he comes. And he's gonna block. All these drivers are going to block Kimi Raikkonen. There you go. Hamilton almost crashes into the back of his teammate. Absolutely ridiculous driving. What are these? Oh, what are they doing? What are they doing? Just get on with it. Jesus Christ. I know you want to back up so you have space, but that was ridiculous. Get on with it. And Hamilton, did he crash into Bottas? No, but then Bottas almost took out Magnussen, who flew past in second Stavolo. Absolutely ridiculous driving by Hamilton, Bottas, everyone who was in that pack. Ridiculous driving. As Daniel Ricciardo now comes through. Kimi Raikkonen. Oh, and surprise, surprise, Ricciardo has traffic. As Ricciardo brakes for the bus stop and gets through. But Raikkonen is fastest on a 44.9. And now Ricciardo goes P1 on a 44.2. But Raikkonen's lap was compromised. No doubt about that whatsoever. Here's another replay of Bottas behind Hulkenberg. And what are they doing? Why are they're like trying to do the slowest outlap in the history of the planet. I don't get it. Anyway, those drivers who were acting so ridiculously are now on a lap. Here comes Lewis Hamilton to the end of the first sector and is actually slower than Daniel Ricciardo in the first sector by a tenth. Lewis Hamilton now comes into the turn 8 hairpin and goes all a bit wide. Does Hamilton? A bit wider than he would have wanted. A bit oversteer on exit. Now down into turn 9. And that's all good. Now comes into Huon. Almost flat out. And now comes through the Fanny chicane. Carter ahead. Gets out the way nicely like you should. And now Hamilton comes to the two Stavolo corners. End of the middle sector though. He is way faster than Daniel Ricciardo. 1.1 seconds up. This is a very strong first run for Lewis Hamilton, but Valtteri Bottas will cross the line before him. Here he comes, Valtteri, to the final chicane. And he now exits the bus stop and comes to the line, and Valtteri Bottas goes P1 on a 43.6. Lewis Hamilton goes P1 on a 43.2. That's a good run. Max Verstappen, P3 on a 44.2. Not that great. As Charles Leclerc goes P1 by 0.6 of a second, and Vettel only goes P3. But Charles Leclerc so far is on pole position by 0.6 of a second. Ferrari with Leclerc are absolutely miles ahead, and this is why Vettel is in third, because he almost spun at the La Source hairpin, which of course is turn 1. So it is Leclerc so far on pole position, provisional pole position, but we do have 5 minutes to go until the end of the session. So Sebastian still has plenty of time to correct that mistake. So it's Leclerc, Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas, and then Verstappen, who is only just ahead of Ricciardo in the Renault. Renault look as though they're a lot stronger this weekend than we were expecting. So yeah, Ricciardo is 6th, and then Perez is 7th, ahead of Kimi Raikkonen in 8th place. Then 9th is Kevin Magnussen, and 10th is Hulkenberg, who in the end didn't even do a lap, even though he was backing up so much with the Mercedes and Ferrari drivers. So there you go. That is the current top 10, but we do have 4 minutes to go in this session. By the way, just to say before the session ends, if you are new around here, we do this for every practice 2 qualifying and race. So don't forget to subscribe for that. Bottom right of the screen, you can do it right there, or click on my channel name, go to the home page, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell. And also, hit the like button. Want to see this content continue, and also, if you want to help out the channel getting noticed, then also, yeah, make sure to hit the like button. But yeah, Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, P5, 1.5 seconds off pole. Bit alarming that. And yeah, showing a replay of Hamilton and Bottas. And whatever these drivers, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to back up and be slow as possible so they can have good tyre life. But I'm sorry. You know, you're not the only driver out there. You've got to be mindful of what is around you. There are other people out there trying to do a lap, and you're out there going slower than an old granny. You're not helping the situation, especially when you're not even off the racing line. So yeah, ridiculous driving. As now the other cars come back out onto the circuit. Ferraris, the Mercedes, Max Verstappen, Ricciardo, Perez, Raikkonen, Magnussen, and Hulkenberg as well. So all 10 cars are now on the circuit. Who will get pole? I think Charles Leclerc will definitely get pole position now because he's so far ahead after that first run. But you never know. You never know. Things could completely turn around. Really, really good. As now Verstappen and Leclerc there, I think, just passed Lewis Hamilton on the outlap. Interestingly though, these drivers don't have long left to get round. They need to speed up a bit because they've only got 90 seconds left and they've still got about 1 minute and 15 of the lap left on this outlap. So they've got to push or else they'll miss it. They'll miss the deadline to get a lap in. So Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton, Vettel, Bottas have got to get a lap in. As Max is leading that pack. And by the way, despite all the issues you've had, I just want to thank the 500 people who are watching us live. Again, had an absolute myriad of issues, but thank you guys for still tuning in and sticking with me. That really does help. Yeah, thank you guys for sticking with us despite the issues we have had. But anyway, back to the session. And yet those drivers will make it on their laps. There is, though, a car. Oh, no, Vettel has passed Hamilton on the outlap. And now Hamilton is passing Vettel. And now they all slow down. They do have enough time to do this, to slow down at the bus stop. As now Charles Leclerc starts his lap. Verstappen does also. Now Lewis Hamilton does. Now Sebastian Vettel does. And then Valtteri Bottas does. Well, hopefully Bottas does. He's got 6 seconds. I hope he does. Bottas start his lap? Yes, he does. Only with 4 seconds to go, though. But here we go. Charles Leclerc. Can he keep pole position as the timer is now over? The checkered flag has gone. Let's see what Charles Leclerc can do for the first sector. He does have a bit of a slipstream from Max Verstappen ahead, and Leclerc is almost 2 tenths up on his first sector time. Hamilton 4 tenths down after the first sector. Sebastian Vettel, though, has done the fastest first sector. The Vettel on a charge as Leclerc now into turn 9. Throws it in. Car looking definitely better around the high-speed Spa Francorchamps circuit. Into P1 he goes. Really throws it in. And now comes into the Fania chicane. And the car looking great. with Charles Leclerc at the wheel. Now into the Stavelot corners and the end of the middle sector. What's his time? 2/10 up. He's 2/10 of a second up. That's good. Hamilton, though, does a slower middle sector than he did before. Sebastian Vettel is 2/10 off Charles Leclerc. So at the moment, it looks as though it'll be Leclerc from Vettel, but we'll see. As Leclerc now comes to the bus stop chicane. And we're not seeing him. Yes, we are now. As Ricciardo is 6th, Hülkenberg is 7th, Max Verstappen is 5th, Charles Leclerc goes a 10th faster on pole position. Lewis Hamilton comes to the line and stays 2nd. Sebastian Vettel comes to the line and goes 2nd for Ferrari. It's a Ferrari front row as Bottas qualifies P4. And that is it for qualifying. It's a Ferrari front row here at Spa. The first front rowing qualifying they have had since Bahrain, I believe. And their first front row at Spa since 2007. And that weekend, they went on to win in the same order, a 1-2 finish. Will they do the same tomorrow? We'll see. But Charles Leclerc, 7/10 of a second clear, I think, of his teammate. Or at least of Lewis Hamilton. No, he's 7/10 clear of Vettel and Hamilton. What a stunning lap by Charles Leclerc. And easily he is the driver of the day. But also to read out the rest of the order. Ricciardo is 6th. Verstappen 5th. Bottas 4th. And then, yeah, Ricciardo 6th. Hülkenberg 7th. Raikkonen 8th. Perez 9th. And Magnussen 10th. Renault will be very happy with that. And another mistake by Vettel? Not really. He wasn't getting pole position. Never going to get it. He was never quick enough. Get Magnussen in 10th. So with the penalties Renault have, they will drop, what, P11 and P12? So Raikkonen and Perez will start at the front of the midfield. So there you go, guys. Qualifying is over, and it is a Ferrari front row. And if you are a Ferrari fan, you've got to be happy, of course, with the front row lockout. But also, you've got to be happy that the team did not bottle it. They did not bottle what was always going to be a front row lockout for the team. And if Charles Leclerc can carry that type of pace in tomorrow's race, then he's going to be very hard to stop, even if the Ferrari car, race pace-wise, is not doing well. Now Leclerc, Vettel and Hamilton come to the grid to do the grid interviews after qualifying. And I'll get one final picture up if I can of a Ferrari. Of course, they're on pole. Spider Monkey says, thank you, Chaz, for the stream. No problem. Thank you guys for sticking with me despite all of the issues I've had during this stream. Let me get a final picture up of, if I can, Charles Leclerc. And I'll try and put this one up screen if I can. And Charles Leclerc now waving to the crowd. And that was an amazing performance by Charles Leclerc. Yes, he did have a much faster car. He did have a much faster car, did Charles. But he was 7/10 of a second ahead of his teammate. And his teammate is a 4-time world champion. So I think we should give credit where credit is due, if I'm honest. Let me just try and get that picture up if I can. Allow me to. Yep, there you go. There is. If it will allow me to move the picture. It was playing up again. There you go. Just it. There is your pole position man. Charles Leclerc, who is on pole from Vettel in 2nd, Hamilton 3rd, Bottas 4th, Verstappen 5th, and then Ricciardo 6th, Hülkenberg 7th, Raikkonen 8th, Perez 9th, Magnussen 10th, then Grosjean is P11, Norris P12, Stroll P13, P14 is Albon, P15 is Antonio Giovinazzi, 16th is Gasly, 17th is Carlos Sainz, 18th is Daniel Kvyat, 19th is Russell, and 20th is Robert Kubica. So that is qualifying for you at Spa. Yep, thank you guys who are saying thank you, and well, thank you all for turning up and sticking with me despite all the problems I've had today. It has been very frustrating, by the way, very, very frustrating, and I'm hoping I can get these issues fixed out before tomorrow, but you know, I'll try my best, and that's all you can ask. But yeah, guys, in the chat for the next few minutes before I head off, let me know what do you think of qualifying. What do you think of qualifying? What do you think of Charles Leclerc on pole by 3/4 of a second? What did you think of Mercedes pace compared to Ferrari? What do you think of Renault and Alpha and Racing Point? Let me know what you thought in the chat, and for the last few minutes I will read out your comments. What is Leclerc's pole time? It's a 42.5, which is so quick at Spa. Normally at Spa, it's a 1 minute 45 second lap most of the time, but the cars are so quick nowadays that now they're in the 1:42s. I mean, give it another 2 or 3 years, you'll be in the 1 minute 30s, and Spa won't be that slow anymore. Lewis Hamilton looking at the Ferrari to see where Ferrari have gained. I don't think it's got anything to do with the aero. I think it is to do with the power unit. People out there might say that that Ferrari, they do trim the wings out at low drag circuits to be quick in a straight line, and they do that, and they have done that this weekend. But you cannot tell me that half a second on the straights is only set up. It's not. That is Ferrari's engine being absolutely monstrous compared to anyone else's. And if Hamilton or Bottas or Verstappen can't pass the Ferraris at the start, it'll be tough to pass them on the straights for sure. That Ferrari is very, very quick in a straight line. And they went 1 second faster than last year. Of course, Q3 was wet, but Q1 and Q2, I believe, was dry. But yeah, not really a surprise. Second faster, because of course, cars have really come on a bit since last year at Spa. Let me look at some other comments here. Astro Stevo, Albon was set up for race, and looking to that, not too much into Albon's performance. No, you can't, because he didn't actually try to qualify. But if you look at Q1, I think he did well. He was only 2.5, 3/10 off his teammate, I think. Times, I'm not sure if he was. I'll have to check back on that. Maybe it was a lot more, but he did all right in Q1. But yeah, you can't look at what he's done today as what Albon can do right away off the bat for Red Bull Racing. Hopefully, with him starting at the, maybe not the very back, but near the back, maybe Alex Albon can come through and still finish in the points. I think he will, because I think the Red Bull car is good enough, but of course we'll have to see. Can do that. Where is Vettel? P2. If you look at the running order along the bottom, it should have the final finishing order of qualifying. Other comments here. Astro Stevo saying race is going to be very interesting with Kvyat, Albon, Gasly. Well, them all starting next to each other. King of Overtake saying Kimi will overtake Ricciardo and Hulkenberg. Well, he won't need to, because Ricciardo and Hulkenberg both have a 5-place penalty for a new IC. So Raikkonen starts from 6th alongside Max Verstappen. So yeah, Kimi looking good, I think, for the race. And I'll find one more final comment, and then come to the end of this stream. J. Crail, Charles equals good job. What left now is to translate the pace to the race. Mercedes, I was expecting Lewis to split the Ferraris, but no, it's not bad, but meh. Well, remember, on Friday, I know it's a lot hotter on Friday than it's supposed to be on Sunday, but Mercedes were a lot faster than Ferrari, and also Red Bull were when it came to race pace. So, even though they have the front row, that doesn't mean they're going to win, because their car will probably be the slowest race pace wise out of the top three. So the race tomorrow is definitely going to be a very, very interesting one. But guys, that has been it for this stream today. Thank you guys again for coming along and bearing with me with the issues I had. I'll try to fix them ahead of the race tomorrow. Anyway, thank you guys for coming along and being part of the stream. Great to have you all along. About 500 of you at this point. Great to see you all, and hopefully you did enjoy qualifying with me Spa. But just to let you guys know, I will be uploading my review of qualifying, not tomorrow, in about an hour's time. I'll be uploading my review of qualifying in about an hour's time. And hopefully my mic should be probably fixed by then, because I think I know what the issue is. So yeah, don't forget to tune into that. That'll be coming out very soon. And then tomorrow, fingers crossed, I can do something for the race. Unless my computer is simply not going to work. I'll let you guys know what the issues are, and I'll let you guys know whether I can actually do a stream or anything like that. But guys, again, thank you for coming along. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this as we do these running commentaries / watch-alongs for every practice 2 qualifying and race at every race of the season. So don't forget to subscribe to that bottom right of the screen right there, or click on my channel name, go to the homepage, subscribe and hit the notifications bell, and also hit the like button to if you want to see this content continue, and if you want to see this channel grow, because hitting the like does improve the channel's growth for sure. Also, don't forget to comment down below what you thought of this video, and what did you think of qualifying today at Spa, what do you think of the performances, and what are your thoughts going into the race tomorrow. And also, don't forget to join my Discord server, link below in the description. That's the best place for notifications for videos and streams. And also, it's the hardcore Chazza HDF1 community. If you want to find out why I'm not streaming at a certain time or uploading, then that is a good place to go, because I'll probably let you guys know there. And also, don't forget to hit the like on my Facebook page, Chazza HDF1. Follow me on Twitter at Chaz6110, and check out my website chazzahd.com for more content like this. But guys, until my qualifying review in an hour, and until the race, it has been me, Chazza HD. Goodbye.